Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my channel update for January 2018. It's going to be a relatively brief channel update this time. I've basically been in a holding pattern this month. First, I'd like to thank all of the new subscribers. As usual, welcome to the channel. If you are only just now subscribing, it's my channel, and I really need to get back into doing the basic theme of it. I cover RPGs, whether they be tabletop, whether they be computer, and I'm starting to cover a few console things. What I do is I do Let's Plays. I do live plays of tabletop games, although I haven't done any lately. I'll talk about that a little bit later. I review tabletop games. I review computer games. And I'm going to start reviewing console games towards the middling part of the year. And basically, my review style is very straightforward. I just try to lay out the facts as I see them, and I try to give a little bit of commentary on the end. Not really aiming for the high humor, not really aiming to trash anything. Pretty much, if you see a review on my channel, it's probably got some sort of redeeming quality to it. So I'm not going to cover games that are absolute trash. So that's basically what I'm all about. What I've been doing lately is I've been kind of slacking off on my Let's Play content, and I haven't been doing it on purpose. I actually got more done this month than I did last month, and I'm going to get back up to where I need to be probably very soon. I missed like 1 week this month, but aside from that, I've been okay on the Let's Plays, trying to get four episodes of those out a month. Still focusing on Divinity Original Sin. I'm still making pretty good progress through that one. I'm intentionally waiting to record multiple sessions on it. Like normally I would record like 4 or 5, but with Divinity Original Sin, I'm kind of clueless about a lot of things in it. So I am kind of only recording like 2 episodes at a time or whatever, so that I have time to read the comments and get hints from people as to what to do. Because as much as I hate to take blow by blow like walkthroughs of anything that I haven't really experienced yet, with this particular game, it's really helpful. Especially one guy that's been commenting on almost every single episode and telling me what I've missed or what I need to do, or what. And he hasn't been doing it in a direct way, like you need to do this, but rather giving me hints, and I really appreciate that because it saves me hours of basically wandering around clueless. But I will be, and one of my patrons told me I should stop promising things, so I'm not going to promise anything, but I am going to try and get back to Underrail. It's just I've been staring at Underrail going, like I'll sit down to record and I'll be like, okay, Divinity Original Sin or Underrail, and it's like the one is really fun and the one has become something of a chore. I do intend to finish it because I want to get onto Fallout 2, like the old Fallout 2 after Underrail, or I may just start it. I don't know. We'll see. I have been kind of focusing on getting a lot more, well, not a lot more, but a decent amount of non-Let's Play content up, like the reviews, like the first looks, like my news posts, which, I appreciate all the people telling me that they like those. I'm trying to get a lot more of that stuff done because, quite frankly, those get more views than my Let's Plays. Like, in the aggregate, I know a lot of people come to my channel for my Let's Play content, but not a lot of people actually sit down and watch it, comparatively. I have a very poor subscriber to views ratio. On a non-Let's Play content, like one of these, like my vlogs, like my first looks or whatever, I will average just under 10% of my subscribers viewing the video. Whereas on my Let's Plays, once I get past the first few episodes, the first few episodes of a new Let's Play are always the best, but since I do the long-form RPG Let's Plays, the viewership peters off towards the end. Now, I still like doing them. I still love the format doing them. Still love to do a full Let's Play of a game of an RPG game and experience it from beginning to end. I still love doing that. So I'm going to keep doing it. It's not going to go for my channel or anything, but I'm just trying to explain to you why sometimes it might seem, you're trying to do a lot more non-Let's Play stuff. Is because that stuff, like pretty much anything, gets a little bit more views than the Let's Plays, which is, I'm not in it for completely for the views, but it's really, really helpful to have people actually watching stuff. So if you're wondering, and interestingly enough, that actually gives me more reason to do stuff like my retrospective for D&D. So yeah, I'll be trying to throw more of those non-Let's Play videos up. And you may have seen it. I got two Shelf of Many Things out this month. People seem to enjoy them. I'll continue doing them. I've got enough content on those to keep me through like almost 3/4 of the year, and by then we'll be getting more stuff out. So who knows? Let's see. People have been liking the informal vlogs that I do from time to time. So I will be doing more of those. I got a lot of positive feedback on those, so I will be hitting those from time to time, just looking at the camera and telling you what's on my mind and such. I set out a poll a while back, and I told, like in the last major update, last vlog or whatever, I said that I'd go back and count. I would close the polls and go back and count, the number of responses on as far as a viewer D&D game. I didn't get a lot of responses on that. I got just enough responses to fill a party up. And some of you may be thinking, oh, well, you've got enough responses to fill a party up. The problem is that because a lot of my viewership is from around the globe, and I personally have assembled parties, assembled D&D games comprising of people from across the globe. In fact, my patron game has most of the people. In fact, the people that are in are all from Europe except for me, so there's massive time difference. And I can run with a massive time difference, but if I only have 4 people interested and they are too scattered, when I go right down to it, I from past experience, I need at least twice as many people interested in a game as I have slots for, just in order to pick the people to actually schedule something. And it didn't quite happen, but I will be running one, but that's why I didn't jump out and say, okay, we're going to run this, is because I just didn't get that many responses with people interested. Another thing is that the votes were pretty evenly. It was a tie between 2nd edition and D&D 5th edition. So, given that, it was like, I love AD&D 2nd edition, and I actually like 5th edition a whole lot. So, with all of that in mind, with the limited amount of interest and the split in the actual votes, what I will be doing is I will be doing a viewer D&D game, but I will be doing it secondary to my tabletops and taverns this year. And if you remember right, I told you, if those of you who are longtime viewers, I said a couple of months ago that tabletops and taverns would be returning this year, and it would be basically a season of how to run and how to play D&D. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be designing an adventure, and I've already actually started. But I will be designing a single adventure for D&D 5th edition from the ground up, and making that my tabletops and taverns thing. And you should be seeing the first videos of that. Actually, I kind of want to finish designing the adventure completely before I start putting videos up, because I've got enough material to actually start it. But I want to actually have the adventure out and actually have it test run before I start putting the videos of how to do it up, because quite frankly, I need to play test it. But end result is that I'll be getting a video series on how to make an adventure, and then I'll run the adventure for my viewers. And for the 2nd edition people, I may do like a couple of videos later on how to convert 5th edition to 2nd edition, because there's a lot of ways to convert from 2nd edition to 5th edition, and vice versa. There's a few other things that need to be considered. So those will be my 2 goals. I'm not going to say when, but that is where that status is. That's where the status is on that. As I said, yeah, I've got enough material to create 2 episodes of Tabletops and Taverns on that so far, but I kind of want to finish designing the adventure before I go ahead and throw it out there. Let's see. For other Tabletops stuff, I do have a Tomb of Annihilation game I've been running, and it's not full video. It's my Tuesday game. A lot of people who have been watching me for a while know that I run D&D, Pathfinder, whatever, on Tuesday nights for people who aren't viewers, people I know through other means. And I've been running a Tomb of Annihilation game for a little while. It's not the best, I admit. My DM style is not theatrical. But they've been having a lot of fun with it, and they're around 7 or 8 sessions in. So I told them basically I wanted to make sure that we didn't pull a Curse of Strahd game where they all die 4 sessions in. Okay, so yeah, as I said I didn't want another repeat of the Curse of Strahd one where they died like 4 sessions in, so I said let's get several sessions in. Well, they've got several sessions in, so I'm going to start editing that and putting it up. It's not the greatest in terms of DMing styling. My DM style is very off the cuff. It's like more suited towards sandbox games, which in a way is good for Tomb of Annihilation because there is a large sandbox section in Tomb of Annihilation. But you can tell that I'm not the theatrical type in terms of how I present my DMing style. So hopefully some people will like watching that. Let's see what else I got. I got the AD&D second edition part of my D&D retrospective. It actually should be hitting. It's been up for my patrons for a couple days now. In fact, by the time this goes live on my channel, the second edition retrospective will already be up for public viewing. So there is that. Then I've got third edition, fourth edition, and then 5th edition, and so those should go relatively quickly because I have more material on them and more. There was less drama for most of those editions. I want to be damn sure I researched the 4th edition one very well, because let's face it, if it were up to me, it would just be me burning the 4th edition books and saying there's my review. But there's some decent things in 4th edition. I'll be the first to admit that there were a couple of decent things in 4th edition, and there were some things that went on behind the scenes in 4th edition in terms of 4th edition's rollout and 4th edition's lifespan that probably need to be touched on. So I will be reviewing those, or I will be researching that more in depth. I already know the 3rd edition stuff is already researched, and I know the 5th edition stuff already researched. So it's just the 4th edition one that's going to take me a little bit. Because I want to be fair. I want to be fair and factual. I don't want to, run off the mouth. But that does mean that series is finally coming towards an end, probably within the next couple months. Probably, maybe even within the next month, but I doubt it. But that leaves me on as to what to do next. And I've promised. I got two things that I promised to do. One was a retrospective on the Elder Scrolls series, or at the very least, reviews of the early Elder Scrolls games. And I would like to get that underway pretty soon, because that one I think is going to be fun for me. Now, it's been done to death. A bunch of channels have done it a little bit better, but I would like to bring my take to it. And then second of all is that I said that I would take a look, do a series in terms of tabletop stuff. Again, it's really tabletop heavy update. That I would like to cover at least a very simple look and review of the various campaign worlds that D&D has put out over the years. So that is another one on my to-do list. And that might actually go a little bit better or faster than my retrospective review, because some of those game worlds, I don't need to go really in depth. I just need to take a look to see the look and the feel of them. And a lot of them I've played, so that'll help me out a lot. After that, I've been trying to keep track of all my comments. I've been trying to respond to all my comments. I've actually been pretty piss poor about responding to all your comments this month, and it's not because I haven't been reading them. It's because I've been reading every comment. It's just that I've had a limited amount of time to work on the channel, and this month I decided to go ahead and focus on actually trying to get videos together, which I barely managed to meet my quota this month. But that's kind of, if you've been wondering why I haven't been a lot of times when I see a comment and I don't have time to look at it, I'll go ahead and at least give a thumbs up. But a couple comments were very interesting, and especially one of them this month. And it was kind of snarky. But I don't mind snarky comments because they can lead to interesting discussions. And I didn't respond to it in the commentary because I wanted to respond to it here. And it was basically on my Tabletops and Taverns series. I'd mentioned that you can get inspiration from computer RPGs, and I said RPGs like Skyrim or the Fallout series you can use for inspiration. And somebody had made this snarky comment. Let me stop you right there. Fallout and Fallout and Skyrim, Fallout and Skyrim aren't RPGs. Or at least Fallout hasn't been since the second edition, or since the second in the series. But nobody plays that. So, in fact, I should have brought it up on screen. But let me stop you right there. First of all, I play the old Fallouts. And second of all, and I'm going to take some shit for this, but why aren't they RPGs? Let's put Fallout 4 aside for now, because Fallout 4 is Fallout 4. But let's go with, because this guy was basically saying Fallout 3 isn't an RPG. Fallout New Vegas, I haven't played New Vegas. Fallout 3 isn't an RPG. Skyrim's not an RPG, he says. But that begs a question, and it's an interesting question, and one that actually needs to be looked at, because there's a lot of games out there right now. And I have this problem every week when I go ahead and do my indie RPG or whatever, my Indie Game Friday, is that what is an RPG? Because you have a lot of things that say they're RPG-like or with RPG elements, and you have some action RPGs and such. So what is an RPG? I mean, it used to be, we'll go ahead and play a role and have some stats, but there's been a lot of games out there that have character advancement, character customization, in-depth storylines that you get to really get into, but they don't have the traditional stat system. They have things where your stats are determined by your gear, and your gear gives you a driving force. And in fact, I'm not even just talking about computer games, because there's a bunch of tabletop games now, wherein, or there have been actually for some time, it's just they've become a little bit more common now, where you get a very bare bones character, and you define the character not through like level progression and such, but by skills. So that, what is a role-playing game? So this particular comment was very snarky. He basically said Skyrim's not a role-playing game, but why isn't it a role-playing game? It has stats. It may not have, albeit it is a dumbed-down role-playing game. It doesn't have as many stats as, say, Oblivion or even before. It's only got the 3 main stats, but it's got 3 stats that you can go ahead and assign points to as you level up, and your level up is based on numerous skills that you can raise. So yes, it's a role-playing game. You may not like the fact that it's got a storyline. It's got a storyline with branching forks. You can make decisions that affect the outcome. Not many decisions, and the fact of the matter is that a lot of the outcomes are virtually identical, but it's got a quest system, it's got stats, it's got skills that you can level up, it's got equipment that you can customize. In fact, it's more RPG, arguably, than some of the RPGs that people don't even ask questions about. Same with Fallout 3. You've got a similar set of stats. In fact, you got more stats in Fallout 3 than you do in Skyrim. So the real question is maybe they're just they're first-person shooters because you can't miss. Well, I got news for you. There's tabletop games where you don't roll to hit, where you just assume there are tabletop games in there where the chance to hit isn't randomized. And let's face it, if chance to hit is your definition of an RPG, that's not a great one. There's role-playing games with only 3 stats. Tabletop role-playing games with only 3 stats. Do I deny they're role-playing games? No. But it's a discussion worth having, because there's a lot of RPG-like games out there right now that just are almost RPG, but not quite. I've covered a few of my Indie Game Friday. I'll come out and say it. I'm going to say, okay, the RPG elements of this game are so light that it's probably not even an RPG anymore. And I'll grant that. Look at Fallout 4 technically has stats. Yeah, it's mostly a lot of it's to do with the first person shooting kind of layout, but it's technically got stats. It's not a really in-depth RPG as far as that goes, but you've got character builds, you've got choices to make, you've got different quests to go on. So hate away, but it's technically an RPG. Are there RPG like games that aren't quite that don't meet that? Yeah, there's games with RPG elements that don't quite meet that standard. Binding of Isaac, great game, but when you realistically look at it, it's all about acquiring power-ups, basically. I mean, you've got your basic stats, you've got your basic 3 stats, but yet more people would say that Binding of Isaac is a role-playing game. Because you are developing your character, and even though character progression is not in the traditional leveling sense, it's there. It's just in terms of gathering various things to boost basic intrinsics instead of, gaining experience through killing stuff. So yeah, it is a question worth having. How do you define an RPG? How do you define a role-playing game? I would almost say that some of the Witcher games aren't quite as RPG as you'd think because you're locked to one character. Yeah, you can customize that character, but it's always going to be Geralt. It's you don't got a lot of leeway with that. Well, except when they allow you to play other characters, but that's more JRPGs. Arguably, some JRPGs aren't really role-playing games because you're basically in there with one character or a set team of characters with very little choice as to how to level them up and very little choices to make in the plots. For instance, Dragon Warrior 1, Dragon Quest 1, whatever. You go out, you kill stuff, you level up, and you gain equipment. But all of your choices all the way down the line, even to basic choices with a plot, are already made for you. So arguably that falls short as an RPG, even though it's one of the archetypal RPGs. So yeah, I don't even know anymore, man. I have a lot of difficulty when I'm playing a game. I go ahead and figuring out whether it's an RPG. Some of them are clearly not rising to that level. But a lot of them are borderline nowadays. And I think it's actually evidence of the evolution of the industry that they're taking elements of particular genres and tying them into other genres to the point where it's hard to make out which genres are which. And at the end of the day, I think that's actually a good thing. It may end up with me covering some things people don't think are RPGs, but hey, I'm willing to take that risk, and I'll take some flack for it. Who knows? Anyway, I'm rambled a little bit. This turned from a channel update into another ramble. I hope you don't mind. I got to get back to today's news roundup. I'm doing this on a Saturday. It's going to be a little bit late today, so those of you who aren't patrons will be looking back at this and going, which roundup is he? But yeah, I've been getting late on the RPG news roundup. Last week I didn't get it in until after midnight, so it was technically a Sunday RPG news roundup. This has been the RPG Crawler. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you got any feedback, subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. If you're feeling particularly generous, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/RPGcrawler, which goes to support this channel, helps me get things to review because I am not big enough to get a lot of review copies on things. And quite frankly, I feel that when I buy something to review, I've actually put money into it, and thus I can more adequately address whether it's worth the money or not. And also, if you're a subscriber, you get access, or not a subscriber, if you're a patron, you get access to early access on some videos like this one, or like my reviews, although my Let's Plays and my Indie Game Fridays and my RPG News Roundups go through the daily stuff. And you also get access to my patron D&D game at a certain level, and access to... Technically, I haven't really added this to the tiers yet, but you also get access to a Discord that you can chat with me at or see other people that I chat with or whatever. I'm working on getting my Patreon fleshed out, so there we go. Until next time, take care and goodbye.